computer. Mhm. So I have a very beautiful poem this morning. It's called Aimless Love, and it's by Billy Collins. This morning, as I walked along the lakeshore, I fell in love with a wren. Oh, I have an idea. I'm going to go back here. Rick, could I deputize you to let people in?
Uh, yes.
So I will make you a co-conspirator.
Okay.
Now you are now a co-host, and you will see when people come in, and you can let them in. Thank you.
Oh, all right.
You got it? There we go. Okay. This morning, as I walked along the lake shore, I fell in love with a wren. And later in the day, with a mouse the cat had dropped onto the dining room table. In the shadows of an autumn evening, I fell for a seamstress, still at her machine in the tailor's window. And later for a bowl of broth, steam rising like smoke from a naval battle. This is the best kind of love, I thought, without recompense, without gifts or unkind words, without suspicion or silence on the telephone. The love of the chestnut, the jazz cap, and one hand on the wheel. No lust, no slam of the door. The love of the miniature orange tree, the clean white shirt, the hot evening shower, the highway that cuts across Florida. No waiting, no huffiness or rancor. Just a twinge every now and then for the wren who had built her nest on a low branch overhanging the water, and for the dead mouse still dressed in its light brown suit. But my heart is always propped up in a field on its tripod, ready for the next arrow. After I carried the mouse by the tail to a pile of leaves in the woods, I found myself standing at the bathroom sink, gazing down affectionately at the soap, so patient and soluble, so at home in its pale green soap dish. I could feel myself falling again as I felt its turning in my wet hands and caught the scent of lavender and stone. After I carried the mouse by the tail to a pile of leaves in the woods, I found myself standing at the bathroom sink, gazing down affectionately at the soap, so patient and soluble, so at home in its pale green soap dish. I could feel myself falling again as I felt its turning in my wet hands and caught the scent of lavender and stone. Deeply rooted in this living present moment. Deeply rooted in this living present moment. Seeing, perceiving with a clear, open, spacious awareness. Beyond fear and doubt. Abiding in luminous equanimity. The path opens before us. Deeply rooted in this living present moment. This one right now, this here now. Deeply rooted in this living present moment. Perceiving with a clear, open, spacious awareness. Beyond fear and doubt. Abiding in luminous equanimity. The path unfolds before me, before us. Life. Somehow, mysteriously, we are capable of participating in awakening. And with a suggestion, a mere suggestion, we can become aware of the aliveness of the body. It tingles, it vibrates. In fact, there's no possible way to describe the actual experience, but it is possible to participate in the experience, to know the aliveness in the hands. The hands are like that soap in the pale green soap dish, or like the seamstress, or like the mouse in its pale brown coat. Meditation and love are synonym. Presence and love are synonym. And it's not so much I love this or I love that. It's that love is. And most likely, in addition to the rich world of sensations in the body, there are also thoughts, what we call the wandering mind. Please let us not make an enemy of the wandering mind. To do so creates a self that is in opposition to reality. Instead, when awakening occurs and the wandering mind is illuminated, we might quietly in our hearts bow to the wandering mind or its capacity to awaken us. A very famous Tibetan teacher, Chogyam Trungpa, said that the wandering mind, in particular the five hindrances, are the manure of our awakening. They are the ultimate fertilizer of freedom. And so we can set our course to be present here with the breath and with whatever else happens. There are no wrong experiences. There's simply this which occurs right now. It is utterly mysterious, is it not? How one is lost in the dream of the wandering mind. It could be in a worry or a plan, some desire or some disliking. It could be in sloth and torpor, dullness. It could be in the cacophony of thoughts of restlessness and agitation, the tumult of thoughts, the hurricane of thought. It could be in doubt. Why am I doing this? Or can I do this? Or maybe doubt that there even is a path. And then, completely unbidden, wakefulness emerges. And the dream state is seen as a dream, as a something that happened. And in the moment of wakefulness, it's gone. Maybe just for a moment, but there's no way to make this wakefulness occur. It comes as a spontaneous gift. There does seem to be something about spiritual practice that makes it a more prevalent gift. But there's no way we can storm the gates of awakening. We can't force our way in. We certainly can't buy our way in. But we can take the time, this time, now, to come home to breathing in and breathing out, to be here now. Dear friend, please allow your imagination to see an image of a great spiral galaxy, one just like our own, the Milky Way, hundreds of billions of stars. And remember that this galaxy in your heart mind is one of hundreds of billions that exist. And in one of them is a small yellow sun, tiny by contrast with many. And allow your imagination to see that there are planets orbiting this sun. And one of them, at the Goldilocks distance from the sun, where water can be liquid, the water planet. And there are some regions of solid ground. Earthquakes demonstrate that it's not all that solid. And in various places on this tiny speck of a dust mote, at this very moment, there sit a handful of people connected electronically, connected through the heart. And one of them is what you take to be you. And you have an earth body, a meat body. Every single element of your body is borrowed for a short time. And remarkably, along with this body comes consciousness. Here in the vastness of the universes sits this living being. Please come home to and inhabit this living body, this momentary flash of an organization called a human body. Feel how stunningly alive it is. Feel the aliveness in what you think of as your feet, what you perceive as your hands and fingers, what you think of as your face, the sensations in the face, the lips, the eyes, the cheeks. And in the region of the abdomen, see if there's a way to soften. It's not an action, it's a non-action. And in the region of the throat, notice any tension there and let that soften. So there's a body, or there is experientially at least a collection of sensations. And there is this which knows it. And allow this mystery of awareness to awaken that the body exists within itself. We could call this practice big mind. There's nothing to do except realize that the body goes on living all by itself. Feel, know, intuit how the body is inside you as that which is awake and aware. If thoughts arise, I can't do this or I'm not doing it right, they are simply included inside the big mind, the great mind. If the wandering mind occurs or when it occurs, we accept that as the blue sky does on a bright summer day when there are small cumulus clouds forming and unforming. There's nothing to resist. The body, complete, exists in big mind. The thoughts, any emotion also exist in big mind. And big mind is just a word. Simply soften the throat, the abdomen. Simply abandon all resistance to the wandering mind. And we inhabit a reality of being. There's nowhere to go, nothing to achieve, there's nothing to fear. When we realize that we are that in which the body occurs, then time, death, fear all become ideas. Ideas which exist effortlessly in big mind. All of that about which we worry exists in big mind. Allow the worries with which the mind preoccupies itself to be seen as clouds in a vast blue sky. But what about this? What about that? What about this or that crisis in my life or the life of the world? Worrying about such things is for another time. Now, see, know, experience all these worries and preoccupations as they truly are, as thoughts, fantasies, imaginations inside the vastness of consciousness. There is truly nothing to do, nothing to change. Everything is exactly as it is. And let us include the images, the memories of all of our friends, our beloveds, mostly who live contracted in the small identity of a human body. But let's now meet them as us, as we soften into this present moment. And in this vastness, we can include all living beings who are part of our true nature. The deer in the forests all around the world, the squirrels, the people who are suffering abjectly, who are overwhelmed with suffering, the people who are living in great power and wealth. We simply soften in the belly and throat, and there's no one to criticize, there's no one to save, There's not even a someone here. There's just vast open awareness. And this big mind is always there, of course. And for now, remember that you are also this separate being sitting here. And kind of out of the corner of your eye, you can remember the countless galaxies, the little blue sun, the little yellow sun, the dust speck of a green earth, blue and green, white, red, brown, spinning on its orbit, and where a handful of people gather in their different time zones, in their beautiful hearts. And please now become aware of your separate body, the body you are gifted with and responsible for a short time. And becoming aware of the contact with the cushion or the chair, the floor, becoming aware of the clothing touching your body. Become aware of the fingers and hands, such handy things, useful, essential. And please allow awareness to open in the face, in the eyes, in the cheeks. And now making the effort, knowing the intention to allow the eyes to open, and then ever so slowly activate all that's necessary to do that. And then allow your eyes to open and to see